Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is April 26th. Today is Friday. Looking at the overall market, we're looking at Google. Google announced earnings yesterday, and boy, oh boy, did it beat. As you guys can see, it went from a high of 160 to 181 on the back of positive YouTube progress. So, looking at overall Google, you guys can see that it is very overbought over here. Definitely want to be careful going for fresh long positions, especially after it's made its high. So want to be careful, want to watch out to see if it breaks that 181. If we jump over even towards the 5 year, this is the highest level Google has reached within over 5 years. So you guys can see the highest level it has reached in recent times was 160, and now it is at 180. So definitely want to watch Google, put Google on your watch list to see what overall is going to happen with Google. As you guys can see, it is a little bit more on the overbought side. If you guys are a bear and you guys are looking for a possible short, I would wait for the break of that EMA. Remember, above the EMA, we're bullish. When we start to break below it, we're bearish. I would probably look for a short at that 171, which is going to be the break of the 20-day EMA, and you could possibly short it to the 180-day EMA because the 180-day EMA may act as a floor. So you short it from one previous support level to the next support level. And then that should be a nice short right there. 171 down towards 160, 166. So definitely want to watch to see what happens. What if Google tries to trend upwards? We're going to talk about another stock that actually did that. Definitely want to be cautious with the upward trend since it is a little bit more on the overbought side. But watch for the break of the high of 181.86. Then we could start possibly pushing up towards 185 and higher. But as a trader, you never really want to buy the tops of these things. You want to buy the overall pullback when stocks are more oversold, especially for a long position, right? Not to say that there's not going to be long opportunities on the smaller chart, but if you guys are looking at it for a larger perspective, overall the stock is a little bit more on the overbought side, right? Like I said, right? Overbought doesn't mean that the stock can't continue, right? We spoke about Tesla yesterday, right? We were looking for a break of the SMA. What did we say yesterday? The SMA at 158. If you guys go back to yesterday's video, that was the key area we are looking for it to break. Why? Because that SMA can act as as a support, and that EMA can act as support, right? As you guys can see, we held above the EMA, not the strongest hold, but it held, and it held above the SMA as well. So that 158 down towards that 154 never really happened, and it just stayed overbought. And that's why we look for multiple reasons of confirmation before you guys take a position, right? You're supposed to have like a checklist. Hey, it's overboard. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look for short positions, but I want to see the break of the EMA. I want to see a break of certain key levels before I enter a trade, right? You don't solely rely on one indicator to help you understand that, hey, this is what you're going to be doing, right? You want multiple things to be showing the same thing before you have conviction inside of your trade. So overall, Tesla is a little bit more in the overbought. It did push from the high of 165 to 169. So want to watch to see if we break the support level. You can see we had wicked up towards 168. Maybe if we break 168, we could start going to 164, possibly even to 158. We are overbought. 20 days actually crossing down on Tesla. Let's jump over towards the 180-day chart over here. 180-day chart, you guys can see that we are trying to break that 180-day SMA. So let's see what happens. A lot of key levels around here. I just want to mark these out real quick. So preferably, if you want to be very bearish on Tesla, you want to see it break that 180-day. Of course, it's a larger chart. It's going to give you bigger confirmation of that downward trend. As you guys can see, once we start to get above this blue line, the EMA, we start to trend up. So it's only natural if we start to break it at overbought positions or overbought levels on the RSI at 166, we could start possibly pushing back down towards these 158 levels where you can see we went sideways. That could possibly be a floor, and that's also the 20-day SMA over here. So we could kind of short it from the 180-day to the 20-day SMA, right? What if she was to continue going higher? Like I told you before, I don't really want to chase Tesla at these levels, but if you guys are willing and you guys want to go for Tesla at these levels, you guys could basically get in from the break of 174 or watch for a hold above the 20-day EMA over here. I always try to enter as close as possible to the EMA. Get in close as possible to the 28 EMA with hopes of it pushing from 171 to 174 and possibly up to these levels, these 178 and maybe 180 levels, right? But make sure you guys set your alerts. I'm going to set my alerts just in case Tesla wants to party. Next stock we're going to talk about is Meta. Meta is another stock that had earnings this week, and we spoke about how Meta was oversold. Meta basically dropped and it got oversold. And you guys can see that she's basically, this was yesterday's action, right? Yesterday was the 25th, right? So you can see yesterday's action. She actually slow grind up. Now we want to see if she starts to try to break that 180-day, that 180-day EMA over here, which is at 146. So these EMAs do not stay at the same place. They move depending on the volume, depending on buying pressure and stuff like that. But watch for the break of 448, and then we can start possibly pushing up towards 473. This is a perfect dip buy opportunity, especially if you're a Meta believer. Like I said, yesterday she fell and she was oversold. I know a lot of bulls, that's what they look for when they want to load up on their long-term portfolios. They're looking for oversold 1 years, right? If we just follow that same premise, every time a stock is pretty much oversold on the 1 year, you guys can see we have some type of recovery, right? From the oversold 1 year. So imagine this level over here. And then the next stock we're going to talk about is SPY, oversold 1 year, and we started to bounce, right? So let's see what happens. We spoke about this yesterday. SPY is probably one of my most traded stocks, so you guys can see I have a lot of key levels on here as well. We hit that 5-year at 507, 506 level, and we had rejected it. But with all these positive earnings, you guys can see that SPY is pushing up after hours, right? This gray zone right here, this is after hours. This is during hours, right? So this is when the market was open, and this is after hours. And you guys can see we closed at 503. SPY is sitting at 507. So definitely want to keep a watch on SPY. I told you these earnings are going to play a major effect on what the overall market is going to do. We had positive earnings from Google. Tesla's holding up still, so definitely want to keep a watch on seeing what's going to overall happen. Now we are actually above the 5-year, and we spoke about it in yesterday's video. Go to yesterday's video, you guys go see it. And I said, hey, if we get back above that 5-year EMA, which was at 506, we could possibly start trending to 524. So today is going to be a major day. Even though today is Friday, you definitely want to be cautious with trading on Friday. But as long as we hold above this 506, as you guys can see, we pushed up and we're going sideways. That is a level of support. And one or two things are going to happen, right? We're either going to break out to the upside or we're going to break down to the downside. So definitely want to be cautious and see what happens. Not only that she's above, she just blew past a lot of key levels, to be honest. She broke above the 180 day, right? So she's above the 180 day. She's above the 1 year EMA, right? The 1 year EMA was sitting around like 503, right? She's at 508 right now. So she's sitting a lot of support to the downside. So as a bear, this is not really what you want to see. Yeah, you could possibly get a short opportunity. Let's say if she breaks that 5-year, you could possibly get in from 506 to 505. That's like a dollar move in the option world. Yeah, you can make like 50%, 100%, depending on the contracts you choose, but definitely not really a high probability setup, right? Yes, it's possible. It could happen. She could give back this whole move, right? She's a little bit more on the overbought side on the 20-day and the 180-day, but you can see the 180-day is still crossed up. 20-day is actually crossed down right now. So we kind of want to wait and see what's going to happen. Are we going to break these levels? Or are you going to start to continue an uptrend, right? You guys can see we had that major rejection. She found some type of support around that 490 level. And then now she's trying to uptrend, right? Is she going to go back towards that 525? or is she going to come back and try to retest this SMA over here at 501? You guys got to stay tuned and watch out, but watch for that 508, and then we could start possibly gapping up. As you guys can see, once we broke 508 before, right, there wasn't really any major support and resistance levels over here, right? We could possibly go to 511 if we break that 508. So definitely going to be watching for that previous high over here. So let's see what happens, 508 or maybe even 509 since we wicked up over here. Definitely want to watch those levels before I look to jump into any long positions, right? Now, let's drop down towards a smaller chart, right? What are the smaller charts telling us, right? What's the 10-minute? What's the 30-minute telling us, right? Right now, it's showing that we're actually a little bit more on the overbought. 30 minutes crossed down. Everything's subject to change around 9:30, but 10 minutes crossed up. Yeah, you kind of want to wait and see, man. I wouldn't want to jump into anything at the bell. Everything's a little bit more on the overbought side on the smaller charts. Let's see. She may have a slight pullback at the bell, but there's a lot of key levels like we spoke about. So that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully on Monday. Hopefully you guys close the week green if you guys are already up. Don't force any trades, especially in this market. Wait until you see your perfect opportunity, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.